Hello everybody, welcome to this SD1 video. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure to do so. It'll just help me out and you'll get to see more of this content. But in this video, we will be sorting out the fabled wiper blades and we'll be fixing the rear doors. The two final things to get us through to that MOT. Obviously we've got that tyre and stuff, but who cares about that for now? So we've come really far with this car. It's been an absolute battle, but she hasn't been on the road in literally 16 years. So I'll take you through what we're doing now. So under here is the wiper stalk plug. Now you can see this plug, there's actually two different types. So with our one, it's this type of plug, and then there's a secondary one, which I'll show you on screen now. But what we need to do is I just need to plug that in, because ours had all gotten wet and all of these had cracked and fallen off. So I'm hoping this new one from Lucas, with the lovely Lucas box, grab it, that should fix it. Well, let's see. There we go. That's that up there. That's all plugged in. Let's give that a try. Just some little bit up here that's really rusty. Fucking design of this, man, it's so shit. And then there's another one right at the back. At this point, we decided it would be a good idea to free up the wiper mechanism. So the actual linkage itself wasn't moving, so we decided to spray some WD-40 on there and work it back and forth to get that full range of motion. Each time with the screwdriver, worked it back and forth, and it got freer and freer every time. So the motor could actually move it, because if there's resistance on the motor, too much in fact, it's not going to move it. One of the things I've found since messing about with cars is that WD-40 is such an indispensable tool. When you don't have it, you just don't know what to do without it. I've used things like Plus Gas is a great penetrating fluid, but WD-40 as an all-rounder, absolutely perfect. Does the job every time. I'm going to get one of them big things that I like about the massive WD-40 that's about 2 litres, just so I have like a bit of a stockpile, because this one can cost me £4, £4.45 from Wilkinson's. Just craziness. Yeah, you try it again. Let me just look at the under there. Yeah, I can see it. So you're getting even further, like further more or less every couple of times. After trying that and getting it unstuck enough so it would at least move a tiny bit, so the motor could at least attempt to operate, I found that when I actually flicked the switch in the car, there was no response from the motor. So one of the main issues that we had is fuse B3, I believe, kept popping no matter what. So I decided to trace that from the fuse box backwards. So it involved me taking the whole of the bottom of that side of the dash apart and taking the passenger side glove box out. For the first time ever, I used a multimeter to test something electrical on a car. Who knew they would be so useful for things other than computers, or, you know, everything else electrical, which is what they're supposed to be used for. I used to use these a lot on compact Macs and old Apple computers. That used to be my job. I used to run a business doing it. Unfortunately, though, I am a bit rusty, but I found that the actual the bit of the fuse box that was blowing that fuse, that was coming up with a very strange reading by all accounts. So that required a bit more investigation. There we go. Give me a bit more access underneath. you see what I'm doing. Presented with. Fuck's sake. Fucking could have done that for like 10 years if you hadn't said that. God's sake. Right. There we go. I think that's the last of it. What we were attempting to do here is essentially take the dashboard apart as little as possible. And we also had a few more jobs in the dash that you'll see in a second, where basically some mice had absolutely stripped loads of insulation and dragged it and made an absolute mess behind that center console. So we needed to look at that. So following that trail of stuff, we decided to see if, the mice had chewed anything or anything like that. Hence why we looked in that specific area. The only thing we found really was that our insulation was absolutely messed up in the middle. So thanks, mice, for doing that to us. Really appreciate it. If you're watching this video, which you're probably not because you're dead, thanks for that. But we went through that and we just found out it was just incredibly disgusting. And to call this car roadworthy, let's say, if it passed its MOT, and have that mess in the center console, that's just not right. So we hoovered all of that out, hoovered and got rid of all that disgusting mess, and it looks so much better. It's just crazy what the things that you find in this car. What I kept finding as well, one of the sad things about it is when the mice obviously got in there and shredded everything, there was loads of receipts and stuff that were probably stored, down the dash, behind the door cards and all that stuff, in all these little nooks and crannies. God knows how some got in the door cards. But the mice absolutely destroyed them all and shredded them all. So unfortunately, there's none of that lovely stuff that you would usually find. I mean, I found Viagra in my Fiat Coupe. So, well, it wasn't actual Viagra. It was the little, the pill plastic thing that you supposedly get them in, apparently. So I've heard from many sources that aren't me. But anyway, so it's a bit sad that we couldn't find any sort of hidden artifacts of this car's previous life. There is someone on Facebook though that has said he owned this car in the past, way back in the day, before, the internet and computers and civilization and all that sort of stuff. So that's quite interesting, but it's just sad that this car and a few of these cars don't really have that much history with them, because we can't really pinpoint any of the, what sort of life it's had. I mean, the Rover 75, man, that's definitely had a life. I know everything about that. The Fiat Coupe, I know more or less everything about that. The 827 Vitesse, I know about that to a point. The Maestro, I know about all of that thing's life. The Cortina, we know about all of that. Just this one's a bit of an enigma. So anyone knows anything, just come forward and let us know. Drop something in the comments, or if you guys suspect anything, let me know. I assume it's just had a pretty run-of-the-mill existence, to be honest with you. I kept the whole Hoover clip in because it is just so satisfying to finally see the mould, the dirt, the muck, everything just get away from this car. It's just been such a battle to get it back roadworthy again. I think this is one of the the final things that we need to do is clean all these nooks and crannies, because you don't want to sit there and say a car's finished and then you end up with like a mouse nest sloshing about from the center console. Just incredibly satisfying. That's one of the things I like about these cars and doing these cars, is seeing these things that are not really becoming of a car of this car stature, being removed so it can finally get back to its original form and it can finally get back into its prime again. And that's what this is all about. I really, really like doing that. It's just been a really, really great journey with this car. Of course, one that's not finished yet. So as you can see, we've managed to get that working, but the problem that we've got now is we need to get the thingy back on the wiper motor spindle, which is there.
Sadly that thing won't stay up, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to wedge something in. But as you can hear, through wiggling and messing about with all this at the back of here, we've managed to get all of this working again. And this wiper, you can hear it, it's moving. So you'll join us when we get that back on. It should just be a simple thing as jam with the bottom of a small screwdriver underneath to keep it up and then tighten it up. So that there looks like falls down every time you try to get it. So look, if you look, because this bit here is supposed to slot on top, but when you let it go, it just falls. So we're going to take the whole linkage out on the motor as well. I'm going to have a look at it from then, because it's just, you know, just really annoying. Anyone else have any experience with that, let me know. So I'm really not sure.
This is more just us working the mechanism outside of the car and making sure that it moves freely before we stick it back in. Quite a boring task, but it's something that needed to be done in order to make this thing actually work consistently, because we don't want to put it back if it's not working properly.
So this is a lot freer than before. I think that's what was causing the problem. We've also managed to get this on by taking the back off and pushing the actual gear forward and then pinching that on, which has worked. So that's one wiper linkage back together. We just need to see if it works. We know the motor works, it's just this bit, and this is supposed to be bent, by the way. Just found that out. So interestingly weird stuff, but yeah, to be. Yeah, that's it, innit? Let it go, see what it does when it parks. Just stop it at like a random point to see if it parks in the right place. Off is in the middle. Do it again. Now just stop it randomly. Just keep doing it and stopping it at random, just see if it parks at that same spot. Stop it now. Do you press in the end when you're doing that? Just put it on like a setting to make it, you know, make it do. Is that you flicking it onto a setting? Right, now just let off it. Do it again, but tell me exactly when you turn it off. What? Hold on, might not be earthing it right. Here we go. Just let off it now. And it's like it's not parking right. What? Yeah, have you? Or have I? Hold on. No, I don't. Is that you letting it go? As you can see, I'm in the car, so what we need to do to get that back in, now it's working, is take this out and then it should all just slide in and go nicely into place. So I'll get that sorted. Why? Oh, I can't. We got it in one. The first one.
it's quite therapeutic to see the results of this, especially after I put the wipers off for so long. It's just, with cars like this, it's one of the main mistakes I've always made is putting things off. It's going, oh, well, I'll do it next time. I'll do the more fun stuff now. No, just do it now. Be a bit bullish about it. Be a bit headstrong and firm with it, and just get in there and get stuck in and do it. That's one of the things that we sort of put off, and it's so satisfying to finally see something working that hasn't been working in so long. Give it a go. This is where it goes backwards. Oh, you're shitting me.
No.
Just turn this on. It's going backwards. God's sake. Oh, are we going to reset myself? It's going backwards.
How is it going backwards?
I don't know. That don't look right to me.
Does that look?
That don't look right to me.
No, you need to.
Need to what?
It's not stopping in the middle of it.
Have we put the wipers on the wrong one?
I think the wipers need to
I feel like the wipers are
come
on.
around here.
Oh yeah, we fucking yeah.
Am I right?
Really? No, I don't know. No, I reckon these are on wrong. Yeah, I reckon the wipers are on wrong. Okay, now. Take two when they're both doing it. There we go. They just need a bit of lube and they'll be alright. That's good, isn't it?
They're a bit fucking slow.
It's because they're dragging so much. The work. Is
Always.
time it's ever cleaned its own windscreen. There you go, that's a bit shit, but it's because the blades are disintegrated, that's why. But on the way up, it just drags too much. Because there's... That, my friends, is a success in my book. So now it's time to move on to the rear doors. One of them, the mechanism's absolutely balked and all bent. The other one is more or less perfect. So let's get on to that. So it just misses it. You pull that up. You see there, it just misses it, but it's unseized. Just need to move it along a bit. God, that's irritating. So that there is supposed to line up with that there, like that. And then that's supposed to push that up. So that, in theory, now should work. Let's try it. The truth, will it work? It works, I fixed it. Sound, easy. That's all it needed was a bit of greasing. That's alright. So let's do result. So that is that, everybody. We are so much closer to where we need to be. So we've obviously sorted these out. However, they're parked really weirdly, so we're going to sort that out. But that's not particularly that interesting, so I'm probably not going to film that. But if you guys notice, all of this stuff in here wasn't really working before. So all the lights and everything were working earlier. However, they're not now for some bizarre reason. So we'll have to sort that. The clock works, which is cool. So we finally got that working. All we did really was just mess about with the back of there. There was some stuff that was unplugged. So I plugged all that back in. Seems like someone had messed about with the back of there, messed about with that. I know I did it in an earlier video, but I didn't unplug anything. I plugged it all back in where it was. So that's all working. Also, the front wipers are working, which is great.
And this rear door that has never opened is now opening and closing. Listen to that. Lovely. So next video on this car is going to be the hoopla of getting these tyres sorted, and then the final sort of preparations to make it saleable. Well, saleable like a boat. Roadworthy, let's say. So we've got to fix this door because this door has a really bad problem with the actual mechanism. Just gonna have to buy another one. Is what it is, isn't it? And then we've got to sort out the interior, put all that back together, because we've currently got that in a bit of a mess because we were cleaning out all the rat and mouse and all that jazz that's been lurking around in there. And then we've also got to sort out that headlining so the MOT tester doesn't be sick when they sit in the car and then automatically fail us. So if you guys remember, on this car, none of this worked, none of them worked. The boot didn't open and close properly, it always stayed open. These doors, this door didn't open, that door would only open sometimes. None of the windows worked, engine didn't work, the gearbox didn't go anywhere, clutch didn't work, none of the gauges worked properly, nothing worked, brakes didn't work, these were stuck on the back. This whole car was a mess when we got it, but it's finally nearly there. I know she's a bit dank looking at the minute, but underneath that exterior, this car's an absolute beast, and that I'm hoping to refresh that sticker soon. So if you haven't watched them already, there's a whole playlist of this car, but I'll see you in the next video, which will be hopefully the big one. Well, it will be the MOT prep, and then we'll have the big one. So thank you for watching, keep watching, remember to subscribe for more of this SD1 content, and just listen to this door ASMR. Now that is something you can be sure about.